Hey, y'all, and welcome to In the Grain Whiskey Talk, where we talk all things whiskey. First, let me thank you for stopping by. I'm new to this. This is a new channel I'm starting. A little bit about myself. My name is Brandon. I am a part of the whiskey community. Very much love whiskey and all things whiskey. It's not just about the drinking, it's about everything from the history behind the product to the art that goes into the label, the bottle, and of course the juice inside that we can sit together and enjoy. So I started back in about 2016-17 with the idea that I wanted to get into whiskey. I was new to it. I didn't know where to start. I asked a few people, what do you recommend? Blah, blah, blah. They told me and I bought a couple. It wasn't that great to me. I tried it again. I tried to force myself kind of into it because better believe it, whiskey is an acquired taste. It's a lot like beer. It's a lot like coffee to some people. It's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone the first time. But I kept at it and tried this and tried that and finally found some stuff that I enjoyed. And I stuck to those things. And then, of course, later on through the years, I've acquired more. I discovered other things that I liked very much so. I always loved watching YouTube videos of people doing reviews and things that revolved around the whiskey community. But I never was into making the videos myself. In fact, I'm not a professional, as you can see. I ain't even going to pretend to be one, but I'll do the best I can. Hopefully it turns out pretty good. If I get 10 people that likes my video, hey, that's cool with me. Today, I figured I would do a little bit of a whiskey review on, as you can see, Ben Holladay. I have poured this already, and it's been sitting here for about 10 minutes to let it air out some. But a little bit about, before we get into the bottle, a little bit about the history of Ben Holladay. So quickly, a quick history lesson. Ben Holladay was born in Kentucky. He moved to Missouri. He grew up and was very highly into the transportation department. Steamboats, railroads, stagecoach lines, which he ended up selling to Wells Fargo. At that time, he was classified as probably the wealthiest employer in the United States. In 1856, Ben and his brother David decided that they were going to distill some whiskey, make some whiskey. So they did. Well, through time, that passed through about 3 different people's hands. And it finally landed with the Mccormick Distilling Company. In 2015, they underwent a multi-million-dollar renovation, and they started to produce their own spirits for the first time in 30 years in that area. And this is a Missouri whiskey, which actually there is, from what I've read, there is absolutely no classification of a such thing. Now to this bottle. I dig the bottle. I like the bottle. It's kind of an old school. It's got that old school vibe to it. But this is a Ben Holladay Missouri straight bourbon whiskey, bottled in bond. Hey, and it's a 6-year-old. Now, what do we know about a bottled in bond? There's a couple things that has to be done to make a bottle a bottled in bond. Well, one, it has to be 100 proof. It has to be aged in what? New oak barrels. Has to be 4 years old. And 1 or 2 other things. This is a 6-year-old, so I have to hand it to these people, to Ben Holladay. They made a product, they aged it 4 years, and they didn't put it out. They sat on it for another 2 years before they bottled it and sold it. So we get a 6-year-old bottled in bond instead of a 4. And I appreciate that, because I'd much rather have a 6-year-old than a 4-year-old. As far as what's in the glass, I think that this has got like a walnut color. It's very oily from what I can see on the glass. It's sticking pretty good to the glass. It's got some pretty good legs on it, and they're slow to fall down the glass too. So it's just slowly running down the inside of that glass. That's a good sign. I always like that when I see that. Let's get on the nose. So right away I get that caramel. It's a dark caramel. It's a darkness that I get. I get that caramel smell. I get that off of a lot of whiskeys. I get a baking spice, almost like it's not a spice as far as like a ethanol. This is more of a baking spice, like a cinnamon. That caramel could almost be like a brown sugar. It's sweet. It's got a light sweet smell. I get a little bit of the oak coming through. Not a lot. It's just a slight woody note. It smells really good. It's a really good nose. Now, cheers. That's good. Now, personally, I try not to judge off the first taste. I let my mouth acclimate to that. I let it coat my mouth. I let my taste buds settle to it. And then I like to go back in and I like to get my true impression of the bourbon, or the whiskey, I say, from here on now. So to me, I get a fruit. Okay. So to me, I get a dark fruit, like a cherry, plum, which kind of, I would say the nose kind of carried over into the palate for me, because I was getting that dark nose and I'm getting that dark fruit. I would say plum, cherry, the mouthfeel. It's not too thick. It coats my mouth very well. Like, it's still lasting. Like, it's not just a slam in your face linger, but it's lingering. It had a chewy mouthfeel. But it's got like that dusty woody from the nose. It's very good. It's got just a slight spice to it. It's 100 proof, so it's not going to blow your socks off. But it's got like that. It's that slight woody, dark fruit, cherry, plum, a little bit of that cinnamon woodiness to it. And it's got a pretty good, like I said, mouthfeel. Okay. So this is the deal. This stuff used to be hard to find. I didn't see it anywhere. Then all of a sudden, it started popping up. Now, depending on, like anything else, depending on the area you're in, is going to be what you see. In my area, let's just say, if there's 7 stores, 2 of the stores around me's got this. And at MSRP, I think this bottle was roughly about anywhere from about 56 to 60 bucks. So, in my opinion, this is a good bottle. I'm pleased to have this bottle. I'm glad I picked this bottle up. Would I purchase this bottle again? I'm not sure. There is so many other things that I can sort of compare this to. And I've got so many other things that I could somewhat compare this to. I'm glad I've got it. I'm glad I purchased it. I'm definitely glad it wasn't $100, $150. I'm glad it's 60 bucks. I would recommend, if you ain't never had this, and if you can pick it up for 60 bucks, to go get it. I wouldn't break your neck trying to chase it or kill yourself trying to find it. Pick up something else that's near you. You know what I mean? 100 proof, bottled in bond. Yes, this is a 6-year, but you're going to get that 4-year minimum on it. But yeah, I enjoy. And I'm going to enjoy this bottle. It's a tasty treat. So, if I had to rate this bottle from 1 to 10, 10 being the one, I would probably stick this at about a 6.5 to a 7. This is a solid 7. I'd say this is a solid 7. Absolutely. Again, this is my first channel. This is my first video. There will be more to come, and hopefully, like anything else, you get better with practice, and time. I hope that I can put together some good content. I've got plenty of stuff that I can review. Again, we'll be going to the Bourbon Festival this year. There's an event coming up in April that we're going to in Mississippi. So there should be some footage of a bunch of different things. I'll have to get my brother on here, have to get some other people on here, and do a collaboration eventually. If you like what you saw, hit the like button. Please share it. Definitely subscribe. And until we find the one, cheers.